July, everybody. How is it that summer goes by so quickly and winter just seems to drag? I mean, is it just me that feels that way, or what is up with that? Check this out. Long-term aspirin use and pancreatic cancer risk have been related. This from Medscape Multi-Specialty. Check it out, medscape.com, but be aware this is an MD-centric website. I refer to it frequently just to kind of give my listeners and my viewers, by the way, join the live stream at the live video stream at thedrgliddenshow.tv. There are 51 people in the chat room right now watching a live video stream of this broadcast while we do the audio all around the world. The longer a person takes low-dose aspirin, the lower the risk for pancreatic cancer, according to a study published online in the Journal of Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention. This finding adds to increasing evidence of the preventive properties of aspirin in pancreatic and other cancers. But this does not ask the question, why? Why is this? Because all cancer is related to inflammation. And we have a member of Team Glidden, also a Dr. Glidden insider, Jarmel from Chicago, who has an intimate relationship with the medical industry. Went to a convention a couple of weeks ago, an MD convention, and the basic buzzword now in MD land is all about inflammation. This is what the MDs are talking about all the time now. Inflammation this and inflammation that. And they're linking all chronic diseases to inflammation. Oh my God, it's inflammation. Inflammation is the culprit, right? And well, you know, that's true. Finally, they've recognized it. The naturopaths have been recognizing this for centuries. But now, you know, the MDs are finally coming up to speed with everything, but they don't ask themselves the question, what causes the inflammation? What is it that causes the inflammation, the chronic inflammation that then makes things like long-term aspirin use effective? What does aspirin do? It knocks down inflammation. Of course, we don't recommend you take Bayer aspirin because Bayer aspirin was made by the Bayer Company, and the Bayer Company was intimately related with the death camps of World War II. The Bayer Corporation was a member of a German coalition of pharmaceutical companies that built a pharmaceutical plant outside of Auschwitz and did experiments on the inmates. Also forced the inmates to work in the death camps, making the Zyklon B gas that killed all the people in the death camps. Bayer. Nobody went to jail. If you have Bayer aspirin in your cabinet, you don't know what you're doing. Flush it down the toilet. Now look, there's better ways to promote anti-inflammatory activity in the body than going by man-made acetyl-salicylic acid sold at, at a profit. A patented medicine sold at a profit. There's a better way to do it. But I'll tell you what that is in a minute, but this misses the point. I mean, all of this begs the question, Mr. MD, why don't you research, why haven't you researched what causes the inflammation? Because you are not concerned with that. And more's the pity. Shame on you. If everybody in the world all of a sudden woke up tomorrow and just understood the simple notion that their MDs are not trained in what causes disease, everything would be different. Your MD might be the nicest person God ever created, but they're not trained in what causes disease. They're trained how to medicate the symptoms of disease into submission. And because of their philosophical understanding, their philosophical orientation on the disease process, allopathic reductionism, they mistake the real thing for the fake thing. The tumor is not the disease. The tumor is the result of the disease. The constricted artery, the clogged artery, is not the disease. It's the result of the disease. The eczematous eruption is not the disease. It's the result of the disease. The arthritic joint is not the disease. It's the result of the disease. The constricted airway causing asthma is not the disease. It is the result of the disease. But the MDs are not aware of this. They're blind to it because they're trained in an old-fashioned, juvenile, outdated, archaic, dangerous philosophy of medicine. It's referred to as allopathic reductionism. Your medical doctor isn't trained in medicine. It should be illegal for your medical doctor to call themselves a medical doctor. Right? That's like saying the only dog that can call itself a dog is a German Shepherd and every other dog is an alternative dog. Right? It's nonsense. Different types of medicine. Different types of doctor. It should be legal, should be mandatory for your MD to describe themselves as an allopathic doctor, because that's what they are. They're not a medical doctor. And it was whoever coined that term was one of the most brilliant marketing strategies of the modern day, because it subtly convinces everybody that listens to it that they're the medical doctor. And what does that make me? That makes me something other than a medical doctor, right? What does that make a chiropractor? What does that make a homeopath? What does that make an acupuncturist? What does that make an Ayurvedic practitioner? Aren't we not all involved in the practice of medicine? Well, yes, we are. But the subliminal message here is that the MD, because they've coined and owned the term medical doctor, is the exclusive emperor of the domain of medicine, and everybody else practices alternative medicine. It's baloney, it's bumpkiss, it's BS, it's just not right, and it's not fair. Nor do hospitals practice healthcare. They do not. It should be illegal for a hospital to advertise healthcare, because they do not practice healthcare. They practice disease management. That's what they do. And that's how they should advertise. It's false advertising. It's not right. But because they monopolized the arena, everybody misses this fundamental point. And I'm the only one talking about it. Dr. Wallach talks about it, but in more circumspect ways. Dr. Wallach doesn't line it up like I do. You need to have it lined up, because knowledge is power, right? You need to understand what you're getting into. If people really understood how their MDs are trained, what their MD thinks about their relationship between disease and health, and what the MD intends to do about it, people wouldn't go. Because you wouldn't do that. I mean, you wouldn't throw gasoline on a fire to try to put it out, would you? You wouldn't do that, because you know better. People just don't know any better. They don't know how the MDs think, and they have been culturally conditioned to believe that the MD is the man, the sine qua non, the alpha and the omega of medicine. And everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. That's why I titled my first book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. Because it's true. The MD Emperor, you have assumed through public relations, a brilliant public relations campaign doled out over the last 100 years, you have been fed the cultural myth that the MD is the emperor, exclusive owner of the domain of medicine, and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack, when in point of fact the MD is only trained in one piece of the medical pie. One piece. And that piece is horrible in relationship to chronic disease. That piece is awesome, more or less, in treatment of acute disease, trauma, and surgery when surgery is necessary. That's the wheelhouse of the MD. You don't go to a chiropractor for open heart surgery. That's ridiculous. You wouldn't do that. Well, nor should you bring your body to an MD if you have a chronic disease. You shouldn't do that. The only time you should darken the door of an MD is if you have an artery is bleeding, you have a bullet in your arm, you have a third-degree burn, you have a broken bone, you're unconscious because some drunk driver, heaven forbid, T-boned you at the intersection. You split your skull open. Or you've been such a knucklehead about your health that one of your kidneys is rotten and it needs to be removed, right? That's the wheelhouse of the MD. You get your leg blown off in Iraq, heaven forbid, Afghanistan, heaven forbid. That's the wheelhouse of the MD. And that should be the long and the short of it, but it's not. MD gets to do anything they want. Did you know that if you're an MD and you've had absolutely no training, no experience in acupuncture, you can practice acupuncture? Did you know that? You can do whatever you want if you're an MD. And it's a problem. It's a big problem. And the problem has existed for so long that everybody has become culturally conditioned to believe that the MD knows everything and that Dr. Oz has the secret decoder ring about all things medical. Right? I mean, you do believe that. That's what you believe. That's why the Dr. Oz show is so popular. People think that the MD degree automatically confers some type of deity-like, thing. Oh, he's a doctor. He must know everything. No. You want to talk to Dr. Oz about open heart surgery? That's what he's trained in. You ask him which is the best scalpel to use, which is the best chest spreader, which is the best heart and lung machine, which is the best anesthesia cocktail to use, right? Those are the things you can talk to him about. But why on earth would you talk to Dr. Oz about vitamins? Why on earth would you talk to Dr. Oz about herbs? Why on earth would you talk to Dr. Oz about weight loss? Why on earth would you talk to Dr. Oz about anything other than drugs and surgery? Because you've drunk the Kool-Aid. You believe it down to your toes that your MD is superior to you in every way and they know stuff that you don't know, and oh my God, you have to genuflect at that altar all the time, and it's nuts, it's nonsense. And like Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? Since you've been following the advice of the MD, how are you feeling? How's your weight? How's your energy? How's your mood? How's your joints? How's your sugar? Your blood sugar? How's your sex drive? You need the little purple pill, do you, just to get through the day? This is what we've come to. We have come to accept medical mediocrity. Our health is in the crapper, and it's getting worse every year. Why? Because you've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. You've brought your body to an MD and you're suffering with a chronic disease, and that's just the silliest thing anybody can do. The only reason you did it is because you did not know there was another way. This is the other way. Stay tuned. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. We have over 60 people in the chat room here. Check out the live stream, by the way, thedrgliddenshow.tv, thedrgliddenshow.tv. We are moving up in the world. Teresa from Iowa in the chat room wants to know if there is a connection with low thyroid function and this weird illness called trichotillomania. Now, this is fun to talk about, right? Because remember, MDs love to name things. And they name things in order to make them appear to be superior to you. So you go into an MD and you've got chronic pain in your elbow. Right? Chronic pain in the joint of your elbow. The MD does $3,000 of diagnostic discovery and then huffs and puffs into the room with their white coat and their stethoscope. And they say, yes, you have osteoarthritis. Thank you very much. Then they turn around and they leave. And I'll write you a prescription to take care of the inflammation. Well, osteoarthritis is, Latin for pain in the joint. You knew you had a pain in the joint when you came in there. But when the MD gives it a Latin name, all of a sudden you feel intellectually inferior and you genuflect at that altar. And then what is their prescription? Is it a prescription for health? No, it's a prescription for disease management. Anti-inflammatories, 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 and then surgery. Because the MD is not concerned with what caused the joint to go south in the first place. The MD's only job is to knock down the inflammation with a man-made, synthetic, for-profit pharmaceutical drug, the intention of which is to orchestrate a hostile takeover of the biochemistry of your body and not fix a darn thing. It's like sweeping dust under the rug. It's like painting over the mold. Only a matter of time until there's more mold, right? Only a matter of time until the drugs fail and then you need the fake elbow. But don't worry, we have the new titanium benzocaine model. That's what we've got, fresh off the press, ladies and gentlemen, right in from Hong Kong. We're getting it at a cut rate. The best titanium in the world, or in the case of Hong Kong, the third-rate titanium in the world, but we're going to sell it to you at a premium price. It's insanity. And we put up with it because we don't know any better. Trichotillomania is fancy schmancy doctor talk for pulling out your hair. You ever seen people that they have a nervous habit, they'll sit in the corner and just pull their hair? Well, that's trichotillomania. And from our point of view, trichotillomania is rooted in chronic, across-the-board nutrient deficiencies, especially minerals and essential fatty acids. Thyroid function, underactive thyroid, is also rooted in nutrient deficiencies. So, as a matter of fact, you can trace every chronic disease back to a mineral deficiency, every single solitary one. Everyone, all of them. So, what these two illnesses have in common are chronic, undiagnosed nutrient deficiencies, and the poor person who's suffering from these things are also probably unwittingly eating stuff that's hurting their body every day. I mean, why do that? If you bought a brand new automobile and it was an unleaded engine, would you put diesel fuel in it? No. The diesel fuel nozzle won't even fit in your tank. They do that because some people are stupid and they try to do that. So, it should be the same with food. I mean, nobody should even look at the 10 bad foods, let alone eat them. You can get that list for free, by the way, on my website, drglidden.com. By the way, I want you right now, everybody listening to this radio program, whether you're watching the live stream, whether you're listening anywhere in the world through the internet or through a radio station, I want you to go to drglidden.com right now, click on the Insider button and become an insider. Join my Insider organization right now. Right now. It's $20 a month. Cancel at any time. It's the first of the month. Join right now and check it out for the entire month of July. If you don't like it, it's easy to cancel. It is easy to cancel. $20 a month will give you immediate access to over 100 hours of health webinars that I've put together. I can only do so much on the radio, right? We have, 100 calls to answer. We've got people in the chat room. We've got a lot of questions coming at us. Well, guess what? There's only so much I can do on the radio, but there is a no limit to what I can do online. There is no limit. I have right now, for your enjoyment, over 100 hours. Over 100 hours of archived 45-minute, 50-minute, 60-minute long health webinars, the intention of which are to show you our perspective on the genesis of chronic disease and the simple steps you need to take to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself. Become an insider now and join the club. Hey, everybody, we're back. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you in July 2014. How did that happen? Boom, all of a sudden July. Oh, my goodness, what's going on? Let's go to Pam in Idaho and see what's cracking. Hey, Pam, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for everything that you're doing for us. I really, really appreciate it. We found out that a friend of ours is in stage 4 cancer. He's got tumors in his liver, his lungs, and his colon. And I know that Z-Radical and Selenium and the Healthy Start Pack are kind of a given, but I didn't know if there was anything else that you could suggest to us.
Well, we can't treat cancer, right? That's illegal. So we can't even intimate that we treat cancer. But what we can do is deliver to anybody, regardless of their diagnosis, regardless of their age, regardless of their weight, regardless of anything, the essential nutrients that their body needs in order to feel better, work better, and be better, right? And there are thousands, I mean, maybe millions of anecdotal cancer stories from people all around the world from the last 100 years who've had really bad life-threatening cancers. They did something other than what the MD told them, and they don't have the cancer anymore. And so why aren't we doing research on that? Why aren't we paying attention to that? Why aren't we focusing on the stuff that actually produces results rather than the stuff that the MDs do, which produces no results? I mean, no results. The cancer treatment is so bad in the United States that the American Cancer Society about 18 years ago stopped even using the word cure. Now it's 5-year survivorship, which means if you're diagnosed with cancer, you go on board with conventional medical treatment and you live 5 years and 1 day. You die 5 years and 1 day after you were diagnosed with cancer. That cancer treatment is considered successful and goes in the record books as a success. And there ought to be a law. I mean, the amount of money that we've paid for cancer research is astronomical, nearly $1 trillion, and which is, I can't even imagine that much money. And the results that we've gotten for that, zip, nada, niet, nothing. Nothing. I mean, how many people do you know that have survived cancer? I know 2. And those 2 people that are cancer survivors got on board with medical nutrition as soon as they got the diagnosis. But, I digress here. So, as much Z-Radical as they can afford is a good thing to do on top of the anti-aging healthy start pack and selenium appropriate for body weight. As much Z-Radical as they can afford. Of course, eliminate the 10 bad foods. And what Dr. Wallach would advise when people came to see him at the Alternative Cancer Treatment Center in Tijuana, Mexico, was a diet heavy in fresh squeezed vegetable and fruit juice. A diet heavy in fresh squeezed vegetable and fruit juice. So that's right along the lines of the Z-Radical, though. Massive amounts of antioxidants, massive amounts of enzymes, right? Live plant enzymes. But honestly, there's not a whole lot to do here that I'm aware of, other than just max out on Z-Radical and, keep your fingers crossed. Because really, probably what we're looking at here, and, remember, I've seen people recover from things you wouldn't believe. Honest to God. That's why I love Dr. Wallach so much. Because under Dr. Wallach's tutelage, the things I've seen people recover from eclipse in magnitude anything I'd ever seen before. I've seen quite a bit in 25 years of clinical experience. But Wallach takes the cake. So, I don't know where the point of no return is. I really don't. Nobody does. And one of the really bad things about cancer is because the treatments are so ineffective, and because the treatments put so much stress on the human body, the last 6 months of most cancer patients' lives are horrible. Their mood is altered by the treatment. Their energy is altered by the treatment. Every time they cough, they pee. I mean, it's just a humiliating existence for the last 6 years of their life, and it's bad. So, medical nutrition to the rescue. Because with proper medical nutrition, worst case scenario, proper medical nutrition, they're able to enjoy dignity on the planet in the last 6 months of their life, and their body is able to work to the best degree that it can. They can think clearly, they can sleep clearly, they can, move through their life and, embrace the change of death with dignity. But notwithstanding that, they're going to go out, they're going to leave planet Earth in a drugged out stupor, in pain. It's nuts, man. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, 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 bad. But we put up with it because I don't see any million man or million woman marches on Washington, D.C. to protest the pharmaceutical industry and to protest cancer research. I don't see anybody organizing that. I don't see any even inference of anything like that. Because we've all drunk the Kool-Aid, except, of course, my listeners. And my listeners are growing in numbers every single day. I appreciate what you do, Pam, taking a stand for the health of somebody else other than you, especially in a sticky wicket like this. More Z-Radical and as much fresh squeezed vegetable and fruit juice as you can possibly manage. I appreciate you very much. Keep up the good work. Indiana's up next. Sharon wants to know about one of my favorite subjects, antibiotics. Welcome aboard, Sharon. You are live.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yo, coming in loud and clear. What's happening?
Well, great. Hey, well, my husband's doing a little bit better. He's on the pig arthritis formula for his rheumatoid arthritis, and we wanted to know how much of the killer, and I think we ordered it. It's called Killer
Biotic? Yeah, how much does your husband weigh?
He's about 280. He's a big guy.
All right. So I would take 9 Killer Biotic a day. 3, 3, and 3. 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner. At that weight.
Okay.
I do that for 8 weeks, right?
Okay.
And remember, again, we need to just be clear with our language. This is not a treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. This is not a treatment for any disease. This is a program, a science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition intervention, the intention of which is to support and promote healthy immune system and healthy joints, right? You're absolutely positively doing the right thing. One thing that he can do, if he hasn't already done it, to kind of maximize and accelerate, the program, is to eliminate completely the 10 bad foods. Has he done that?
Pretty much so. Every once in a while he gets some French fries, and I tell him, you can't eat French fries.
Well, you know what you can do, because, the French fries are awesome, right? They'll kill you, but they're really, it's like, what a way to go.
Right.
You can make your own French fries. You can get one of those, it's a julienne cutter. It just cuts the potato into French fries, little sticks.
Yeah.
You can put those on a baking pan, put spices on them, salt and pepper, cayenne pepper, whatever you want, and bake them. Put some butter on it. Bake it. It's awesome.
Oh, and how many, should he take it away, you said with his meal, should he take it away from his classic and the... No.
No. You can take it all together, but I would take the Killer Biotic with food, because if you don't, you're going to be burping back the stuff in the Killer Biotic. It's not going to taste good. It might burn the esophagus a little bit, and it's just going to be not a pleasant experience. I would take the Killer Biotic with food, and it doesn't matter if he also takes it with any of the other nutritional supplements. That's irrelevant.
Okay, and then the selenium, should he take extra of that, or is that in the...
At his body weight, I do 12 a day. I'm 200 pounds. And now it's best with the selenium to do it between meals. 4, 4, and 4. Yeah, or 6 and 6. 4, 4, and 4, or 6 and 6.
So he needs to get that extra, because that's not really in the pig arthritis. The 2 bottles of the colloidal minerals and the vitamins, not enough in there. You need to take it extra, basically, right?
I would. Selenium supplementation reduces the occurrence of breast cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, and prostate cancer to a remarkable degree. It's also one of the main engines that the fire department of your body uses, right? Selenium is intimately related with your body's anti-inflammatory activity. And anybody that has arthritis, right, which an itis means inflammation, needs a leg up on their body's fire department, right? Your body's fire department needs help. One of the easiest, cheapest, best ways to give your body's fire department help is with selenium supplementation. So I have no problem.
Okay, and then the Walmart brand, I'm sure, isn't as good or as healthy as your brand, probably, right?
Well, yeah. And this is a really good point to ponder, because, right? Not all chicken soup is the same, right?
Exactly. So yours is pretty awesome then, right? Okay.
Well, I'm telling you the truth. One of the reasons why I'm such a cheerleader for longevity and Dr. Wallach is because I've been doing this for 25 years clinically. It's going to be 26 years in September. 25 years clinically. And I've used every vitamin supplement under the sun virtually. As a naturopathic doctor, I have access to vitamin companies that you don't as a layperson, right? Really high quality stuff. I've used nutritional supplements from companies you can't use. I've used a lot of different companies over 25 years, and I'm here to tell you that Dr. Wallach's recipes, Dr. Wallach's formulas delivered by Youngevity are among the most effective nutritional supplements I've ever seen. The recipe makes a difference. That's why I'm a big cheerleader for it. You bet.
Okay, and just one more question, I'll let you go. You're awesome. Hey, I have they told me a blood iron storing thing, and I read in the book that if you have an iron storing, you should take extra copper. So do you think I should take extra copper?
So do you have hemochromatosis? Is that what they told you?
Yeah, so they're taking my blood out each month. They give me to get rid of blood.
Yeah, next year they're going to give you the take-home leeches in a 12-pack, right? That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, there you go. So should I take some extra copper then?
So here's what you need to do, right? Remember, the body is a holistic organism. It is a complex interrelated system, and when one part of the body starts to get funky, like, it's having trouble with iron, right? The first thing to do is give your body a comprehensive nutritional shot in the arm, comprehensive across-the-board nutritional shot in the arm. For you, that would be one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form, one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form, and one bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month.
Okay.
I would do that for 6 months and then look to see if the hemochromatosis is still present. I'm going to bet you 25 cents that it's not going to be present anymore. So just give your body the comprehensive stuff and keep your fingers crossed. That's how I would handle that.
And that's better than the tangerine, the powdered form. You think that'd be a little bit better for me because I've been starting on that.
Well, we got to be clear, and that's a great question. The tangy tangerine in the powdered form is part of the Healthy Start Pack liquid. The Healthy Start Pack in 2.0 in the liquid is the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. The EFAs, fish oil capsules, and the liquid calcium, not the powdered calcium, the liquid calcium. I like the liquid calcium better. It gives you more bang for your buck, and I think, that's a better expenditure of money. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 with the liquid calcium, and one bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight. Plus, of course, eliminate the 10 bad foods. You're awesome, Sharon. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks.
Wish I could play guitar. Can't do it. Just can't play guitar. I'm just not wired that way. I can't do it. I've tried. I can't do it. And every time I hear Carlos, I just want to cry. So good. Really, really good stuff. Hey, Coach is up from Florida. Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play, baby. Welcome aboard.
How you doing, Dr. Glidden?
You're live. What's going on, Coach?
Not too much. I was calling on behalf of a friend of mine who suffers with RSD.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what could you suggest for nutritional support for her?
All right. Excellent question. One of my most remarkable cures in my professional career as a private practice as a naturopathic physician, licensed naturopathic physician, was with reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It was a remarkable cure in a little 9-year-old girl. She'd been suffering with it for years. And long story short, I eliminated it 100% in 72 hours with 3 doses of a homeopathic medicine that cost about $10. It was one of the most remarkable turnarounds I've ever seen. And the real eye-opener for me was not only was it a remarkable resolution, but she'd been treated at Children's Hospital in Boston for 2 or 3 years because she had a really rare case. And every time she went there, she was seen by a team of specialists. Like 12 doctors would look at her, right? Mm-hmm. They had nothing for her. Pain meds and anti-inflammatories and painful physical therapy. So she's been seeing this cadre of doctors for a couple of years, right? They all know her. They all know her symptoms. They all know her diagnosis. They all know her history. After she comes to see me and there's no more reflex sympathetic dystrophy, it's gone. She goes back to them. the 12 doctors, their jaws were on the floor from the way that her mother tells it, and they asked her mother, what on earth did you do to produce such a remarkable result? And the mother said, we took her to a naturopathic doctor, and he gave her a homeopathic medicine. All but one of the doctors got up and left the room. Didn't want to know, didn't want to have anything to do with it, didn't want to know anything about it. There was one doctor from Israel who asked the mother what the name of the medicine I used was, but not even he called me. This really drove home the message to me, and this is why I'm such an advocate of firing your MD, because these people who we've given our hope and our trust to, these people who hold themselves out as the bulwarks of medicine, the go-to people that are holding up the walls of health, do not give a crap about you or me. They do not. Because if they did, those doctors would have called me, every single one of them. Are you kidding me? They would have rented a bus and they would have come down to, I live 2.5 hours away. They would have made a weekend trip. I would have been happy to line it all up for them. I could have told them from start to finish what I did and why I did it. Could have lined the whole thing up. But they were not interested. And we get this all the time from people who call into the show. They're suffering for years with a chronic health condition. They get on board with a medical nutrition program, or they do something else and it goes away. They go back to their original prescribing doctor, and the doctor says, I don't want to know what you're doing. I don't want to know. Just keep doing it. I don't want to know what you're doing. It's nuts. Quite frankly, it's scandalous. And these people are not physicians. They're intellectual cowards who have no business being having as much social cachet as they do. Now, to answer your question, to support and promote the structure and function of the human body in the face of a diagnosis of reflex sympathetic dystrophy, the recommendation is 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium, 1 immortalium. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium, 1 immortalium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. As much Z-Radical as they can afford. Complete elimination of all 10 bad foods. Complete elimination of all 10 bad foods. And I would try a homeopathic medicine that they can get anywhere. Homeopathic Arnica Montana. A-R-N like Nancy, I-C-A. Montana, just like the state. Arnica Montana in the 200C or the 200CK strength. 2 pellets 3 times a day orally for 7 days. 2 pellets 3 times a day orally for 7 days. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Do the medical nutrition. Keep your fingers crossed. And, expect a freaking miracle, because more often than not, that's what we secure. Appreciate you, Coach. Give me a call anytime. Hour 2 coming up, folks. Live feed right now. Video stream. drgliddentv.com. It's the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for turning on. It's the first of the month, so go and get an insider subscription right now. Right now. Just go to your computer, drglidden.com, click on the link, become an insider, and check it out for 1 month. $20. You can find $20 in change in 1 month if money's really tight. $20, cancel anytime. And if you don't love what you see, if you don't love the stuff you have access to, I'll eat my hat. Check it out right now, drglidden.com. Become an insider. And by the way, I can't remember the last time that this happened, but we have phone lines open at the studio. That never happens here. You want to talk to me today? It's your perfect time to call. 844-374-5433. That's 844-DR-GLIDDEN. 844-374-5433. 844-374-5433. We're going to go to the chat room now on the live video stream. We have, let me see how many people now. 79 people in the chat room watching the live stream. And here's a question from the chat room. Hold on here. Bernie says, is alcoholic cirrhosis reversible? My friend has been on a transplant list, but with milk thistle and apple cider, vinegar and baking soda, she's been taken off the list, at least for now. Can longevity help? Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite Dr. Wallach stories. There's a woman named Elaine Ayagata, and she was suffering from a chronic liver wasting disease. I'll think of it in a minute. It's fancy schmancy doctor talk. Her liver was getting smaller and smaller. She'd had over 20 liver surgeries at Harvard University and was on a liver transplant list when her husband heard Dr. Wallach on the radio. Without seeing her chart, without knowing anything other than the name of the disease, Dr. Wallach was able to get this woman on board with a medical nutrition support program, the intention of which was to support and promote the structure and function of her body and with extra help for the liver. Remember, she'd had over 20 surgeries at Harvard. Her liver was the size of an Oreo cookie when Dr. Wallach got to her, and she was on a liver transplant list, living at the hospital, right, because she couldn't live without support. She started the medical nutrition program. Within a month, she was released from the hospital, and within a year, the liver had completely grown back. The liver is the only organ, in fact, that can completely regenerate itself. You can remove over 70% of it surgically, and it'll grow back. So, yes, the potential is high for a remarkable resolution of chronic liver problems. Chronic liver problems. The probability is high that you will be able to come a long way back towards health. And in order to support and promote the structure and function of the liver and, quite frankly, the body, the recommendation would be 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium, 1 Hepal, 1 immortalium, 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium, 1 Hepal, and 1 immortalium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and eat a diet high in cholesterol. And that is what I have to say about that. And I still can't remember the name of that illness, but I will remember it shortly. Here we go. We had another question in the chat room about rheumatoid arthritis. And the person wanted to know what is our understanding of rheumatoid arthritis. And what do we recommend people do when they're in the throes of a rheumatoid arthritis predicament? Well, the recommendation here is, of course, to give the body bone and joint support, because that's what the body needs when it's in the throes of a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. And remember, a diagnosis is just a name. Right? The rheumatoid arthritis does not exist like a bumblebee exists or like a tennis ball exists. Rheumatoid arthritis is a name of an intangible set of symptoms showing up in a living, breathing human being. You can bring me a box of tennis balls, you can bring me a box of bumblebees, but you can't bring me a box of rheumatoid arthritis. So remember, in point of fact, even in a private practice, working in a state that licenses and regulates naturopathic medicine, in which I hold a license to practice naturopathic medicine, as I do now in Minnesota, we don't treat disease. Not specifically, because there's no such thing as disease. You know, I can't treat something that doesn't exist. Rheumatoid arthritis, as a name, it's an intangible name. That's all that it is. I can't treat an intangible name, but I can help people. I can help a person's body who is suffering from a group of symptoms that the MDs have decided to give a name to. You see that distinction? We don't treat diseases, we treat people. MDs treat diseases. That's why they suck at what they do. We treat people. There's a gigantic difference, because diseases don't exist. You can't treat a disease. You can treat a person. You can't treat a disease, because diseases don't exist. So for rheumatoid arthritis, what we do is support and promote the structure and function of bones and joints. And that's easy to do. 1 healthy bone and joint pack and 1 killer biotic per 100 pounds of body weight. per month. 1 healthy bone and joint pack and 1 killer biotic per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The phones are ringing now. Robert from California is up with a question about hunger pangs, I think. Hey, Robert, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glennon.
Hey, Robert, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm calling because, I called 3 weeks ago, and you gave me a list of products to take, for my dad, and I got them. But now he's had this before, but it's never been pinpointed, diagnosed, I guess. He has these, it feels like he's hungry.
Yeah.
And he has some pain.
Yeah.
But then whenever he eats, it intensifies, so it becomes worse.
Yeah. Okay, so has he stopped the 10 bad foods yet?
Yes, he has.
Okay, so has he ever suffered from heartburn? Has that been at play in his health history?
Yeah.
Yeah, and is he still taking heartburn meds like Prilosec or proton pump inhibitors or any of that stuff?
He's taking omeprazole, Carafate, and I think sometimes he takes Nexium, which I think is kind of like the same thing as omeprazole.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm not licensed to practice naturopathic medicine in California. I could be. I mean, I could be if I wanted to pay the state and send him my records. I could be licensed to practice, but I'm not right now, so I can't tell him to stop taking those drugs. If he were my patient in a state in which I could prescribe those drugs, I'd tell him to stop taking those drugs. But I can't do that. He needs to salt his food. I would give him 2 extra ounces of the calcium a day. I would give him 2 extra ounces of the calcium a day. Make sure he's salting his food so that it tastes good. And another thing that you can do to kind of up the ante with his digestive acid, which is necessary to do here, you could give him a half of a lemon, squeeze the juice of half of a lemon into a little bit of warm water, and have him drink that down at the beginning of every meal. Have him just throw it down like a shot, like a shot of whiskey. Just throw it down, a lemon juice with a little bit of warm water at the beginning of a meal. Make sure that he's salting his food so that it tastes good. And I would encourage him wholeheartedly to step away from any type of antacid or proton pump inhibitor because that stuff is gumming up the works in his digestive process. And the digestive process is like a series of dominoes, each which knocks the other over. And if you remove 1 or 2 of those dominoes with, an antacid or a proton pump inhibitor, you're going to upset everything else downstream from that, and it's going to cause any number of problems. And so, that we have to, clear the fog here, let the dust settle, and then just move forward with medical nutrition. Now, another interesting thing that may be at play here, because I don't have a photographic memory, oftentimes when people are taking drugs for a long time, their bodies, of course, become undernutrified in an accelerated state because of the action of the drug on the body. And so then they continue to take the drugs, and they start with medical nutrition. So they clean their diet up, and they take the longevity products or whatever. All of a sudden, they'll develop side effects of the drugs that they never had before. Because now the drugs are working very efficiently because the body has all the nutrients that the drugs need to work. And nobody ever talks about that. So often, ironically, some of the symptoms that people will experience after they start, with longevity especially, are not anything caused by the nutritional supplements, but are actually side effects of the drugs, because the drugs are now working more efficiently in their body because their bodies are nutrified. So I would go on the internet and I would look up, the biggest side effects of these drugs and see if it matches any of his presenting symptoms. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But notwithstanding that, we need to give him more support in the digestive area. And the sooner he gets off of proton pump inhibitors, in my opinion, the better it's going to be for him. And I can't recommend that he does that because I'm not licensed to practice medicine in the state of California. You get my drift?
Yes. I I also had another question. Well, but before that, so I don't know if my dad may have like an ulcer or, like bacteria, because he's not diagnosed. So, should he, are all these things, would they still apply with those conditions if possible?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the most common cause of an ulcer is the presence of a bacteria called H. pylori. So call his doctor up and say, look, I want you to do an H. pylori test, P-Y-L-O-R-I, H like Harry, pylori. That's the main cause of ulcers, but there's no harm and no foul in giving him these nutritional supplements if, in fact, that's the case. That's us, baby, coming over the hill to the rescue. Somebody's got to come to the rescue. I mean, wasn't that your favorite part? Wasn't that your favorite part of the westerns? I mean, isn't that your favorite part of the war movies? I mean, in the 11th hour, the cavalry comes to the rescue. The reinforcements jump out of the plane and paratroop onto the battlefield. The other army's army comes around the bend. Gandalf comes to the rescue at Helm's Deep. You gotta love stuff like that. Well, that's what we do. We're not the Rohirrim. But we're close, baby. We're as close as it gets. And this is why you need to become a Youngevity Insider. Dr. Glidden Insider, this is why you need to become a Youngevity member. You need to become a Youngevity member. You do. If you were directed to this website, to my website, to this radio program, by a Youngevity associate, by a Youngevity member, get with them right now and ask them how to become a member of Youngevity. It's their job to show you the ropes. They brought you here. You go to them. They show you the ropes. Join the team, man. You don't know what you're missing. You're going to love it. I mean, you don't get to experience this sense of camaraderie and this sense of teamwork, this sense of one-pointed determination in any other field of endeavor besides sports or the military. Both of which will kill you. This will not kill you. This will give you satisfaction deep down into your bones. Satisfaction. Join Youngevity. Now, if you found your way to me on your own, if you were just browsing the internet and I popped up somewhere, go to my website and click on Join Team Glidden. Someone from my organization will get in touch with you and will show you the ropes. You need to join Youngevity. You need to join Youngevity today. You need to get started helping people recover their health while you build your fortune. And I'm talking fortune. Fortune with a capital F. Can you even conceptualize what it would be like to have a fortune, a financial fortune? Can you even conceptualize what that would feel like? I can. It's realizable. This is not some pie-in-the-sky, get-rich-quick, overnight sensation scheme. It's not. It's a tried and true business model. Very unique, very easy. You join us, we'll show you how to do it. You can make a gigantic difference in your monthly income. Or you can make a small difference in your monthly income if that's what you're up to. Either way, what works for you works for me. Where there's a will, there's a way. You have the will, we have the way. Check it out. Become a Youngevity member now. Ernest from Florida is up. He wants to know what's going on. Hey, Ernest, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, Doc, thank you very much for having me. I was calling to see what your suggestion would be for what they're calling a AV fistula.
Yeah, arteriovenous fistula, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a weird connection between an artery and a vein. Now, where do you have this?
Cervical spine, up in the neck.
Yeah, was it definitive or was it presumptive?
Definitive.
All right, and how do you feel?
I feel fine. But
how old are you?
54.
And did they just discover this because they were looking for something else?
Yes, I was having some neck pains, and I have degenerative disc disease in my lower back, and I guess it started working its way up, so they did do an MRI. That's before I found out all the bad stuff about MRIs, and they found the fistula along with degenerative disc disease in my neck.
And what did they tell you caused the fistula?
They didn't say nothing about that. They just said they recommend at my age to have it cauterized.
Yeah, okay. So all right. So let's just think this through, okay?
Okay.
So they didn't tell you what caused it, and most probably you've had it your entire life. Most probably you've had it your entire life. By the way, if you go, if you get dialysis, the MDs create an AV fistula. They create one. So if they create one on purpose, I mean, how dangerous can it be, number one? And number two, you've been living your whole life with it, and you've been doing just fine. The degenerative disc disease is another issue entirely. You stay tuned with me, Ernest. I'll dial this in for you on the other side of the break. Appreciate the phone call. Stick around, folks. More to come. This is Fire Your MD Now. For the astrologically minded amongst us, Mercury is now direct, and this means that you can start to move forward again. Start to get things done. No more screw-ups in communication. No more lost emails. No more nonsense. Move forward today, now. Get it done today, now. Invite people to the worldwide webinar tonight. Become an insider today. Join Longevity today. Make a difference in your life. Make a difference in the lives of somebody else every day of the week from now on. We can do it if we stick together. Quite frankly, that's the only way we're going to do it, by generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. Let's go back to Florida. Ernest, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, well, it's an interesting thing, and, you know, we talk about this all the time, Ernest. For instance, if somebody has cysts on their kidneys, right, cystic kidneys, they've had those their entire life. They're born with them. And there's no harm and no foul, and the body's working quite fine, thank you very much. And, you know, they're 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. They hurt their back, fall off of a ladder, or, you know, they're playing touch football with their kid, tweak their back, so they go to the MD. The MD does an X-ray of the back, and they see that there's cysts on the kidney. Now, the MD recommends, oh, my God, we must operate tomorrow because you're going to die if we don't. And they're wrong. So, you know, if they don't know what causes this, it is entirely possible, and most entirely probable, you've been living with this your entire life, and it's not a problem.
Okay.
So I wouldn't operate on this. If I had one of these, I'd leave it the hell alone. Now, the degenerative disc disease is another thing completely. It's an entirely different thing. You don't get degenerative discs because you have discs. You don't get degenerative discs because you're getting older. You don't get degenerative discs because you have a bad gene. And I'm pretty sure you don't have a voodoo curse, although you do live pretty close to New Orleans, so that's possible. Right? I mean, you know, the discs are going bad because your body's run out of the stuff that the discs need to stay healthy. That's why they're going bad. Now, if your body, remember, everything's connected, man, right? So
right.
If your body is so nutritionally deficient that it is generating strong and persistent symptoms with a degenerative illness in one part of your body, 5 will get you 10. There's a bunch of other stuff going on in other parts of your body that you've kind of just gotten used to, and you think it's just aging. You know, I don't know, heartburn, restless legs at night, insomnia, hard to fall asleep, a little bit sluggish during the day, sex drive maybe not where it used to be 5 years ago, concentration maybe not where it used to be. Any number of things can be showing up here, right? But we all get used to it. And then we look around at all our buddies, and they're dealing with the same thing. And so we just think it's par for the course, and that's life. And, you know, the MD is only too happy to have to solidify that thought. Oh, I'm lucky that we found this. You need surgical intervention tomorrow. Yeah, baloney, you need surgery. So, you know, well, if I were you, what I would do is I would get on board as soon as you can with a comprehensive medical nutrition program that's inside your budget that supports and promotes your body's ability to be strong and healthy. and, you know, stop eating food that's hurting your body. And that's free. I mean, you know, stopping something is free. You don't have to pay for that. You just stop doing it. Actually, quite frankly, if you clean up your diet along our lines, you're going to save money every month. So I can tell you what to do here for bones and joints and general overall health, but I have to know how much you weigh first.
About 140.
Okay, and how tall are you?
6 foot.
All right, that's a little bit underweight, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think's up with that?
Eating habits.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. We got to be. Well.
I'll skip a meal and.
Then that's not a bad thing. Why do you do that? Just because you're busy? You're like a type A that, you know, you got to work all the time and I don't have time to eat? Is it like that?
Yeah, most part I just lose track of time, and then lunchtime becomes almost dinner time. So it's like, well, might as well just wait because otherwise I mess up dinner.
Yeah, well, I think you may have stumbled into a gold mine here, because all of the research now that's being done with anti-aging clearly shows, this is an academic point, that the less food somebody eats, the longer they live. Oh. No kidding. Now, that really kind of is counterintuitive, and it doesn't really make sense, right? But it's true that the less calories you eat on a daily basis, the longer you live. Okay. So having a calorie-restricted diet by hook or by crook is going to make you live longer, and it's a feather in your cap. So I don't have a problem with that. But, you know, especially if it's happening because of the way that it's happening, which would be different than, geez, doc, every time I eat, something goes in my stomach, I feel sick, so I don't want to eat, right? That's completely different.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I think you're a couple of steps ahead of the curve here in the limited calorie diet. But at 140 pounds, here's what I would do every month for 3 months. Are you experiencing pain, by the way, in any of this degenerative disc stuff?
In my neck, I am, and it's been basically constant every day. I mean, it's only a certain way I turn or move. And my back, I have good days. Over the last 2 weeks, I've pulled a muscle or caused it, you know, something like 3 times in the last 2 weeks. But other than that, my back's been so-so.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
I just got to be careful how I move, how I cough.
Yeah, I know. Don't you hate that? I mean, I don't you hate that? I hate that. For years before I knew Dr. Wallach, I was struggling with a low back problem. My back went out once so bad. My low back went out once so bad. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of bed. I was stuck. I was stuck in bed. I couldn't get out of bed. It hurt so much. And heaven forbid I sneezed, because the pain would increase so much I'd pass out. I mean, it was bad, man. And I completely got on the other side of that with medical nutrition. So you can too. So here's what we do. Here's what I would do if I were you. Number 1, eliminate the 10 bad foods. You can get that list for free on my website. All right, drglidden.com. Number 2, 1 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 with the liquid calcium. 1 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 with the liquid calcium. All right, and that's a specific product in longevity.
Right.
It's called Healthy Start Pack 2.0 Liquid, I think. Okay, and so 1 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 with the liquid calcium. 1 bottle of Cal Toddy. That's C-A-L, like calcium. Toddy, T like Thomas, O-D-D-Y. 1 bottle of Cal Toddy. 3 bottles of Liquid Glucogel Plus. 3 bottles of Liquid Glucogel Plus. And 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, S-E-L-E-N, like Nancy, I-U-M, Selenium. That's what I would do. every month for 3 months and eliminate the 10 bad foods. And what you should see here is slow and steady measurable improvement. Now, it might take you a year and a half to get on the other side of this completely. It might take you 3 months to get on the other side of this completely. I have no idea. But when we intervene effectively with medical nutrition and diet, people experience slow and steady positive change, right? It's like watching a flower grow. Oh, yeah, my back's a little bit better this week. Oh, my back's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. I'm sleeping better. My energy's better. You know what? My appetite's better. You know what? I feel better. It's like that. And then as long as you get noticeable, measurable positive change in the first 90 days, and honestly, Ernest, most people feel a noticeable, measurable positive change in the first couple of weeks, right? Let alone the first couple of months. Then it's just a matter of time, man. You just got to dial in the discipline, maintain the program, and ride that horse as far as it's going to take you. I could build a multi-million-dollar business just focusing on bone and joint issues with people. I could, because medical nutrition is awesome for bone and joint issues. It is awesome for bone and joint issues. Quite frankly, it's awesome for a lot of things, but you know, I can help people recover from bone and joint issues in my sleep. I mean, that's how easy it is. I think you're going to love how you feel. Do me a favor, though. You sound like a smart guy, Ernest, and an honest guy. I can kind of get that when I talk to people. Give me a call every 2 or 3 weeks with a report. I'd really appreciate that if we could track live on the radio, unadulterated, unfiltered, uncensored, how you're doing as you move forward here. I'd look forward to that, okay?
That sounds good. On the selenium, how many should I take daily?
Okay, so what did I say? 2 bottles a month or 3? Well, in a perfect world, you do 3 bottles a month, and that would be 9 a day.
Okay.
If you can't afford that, because I have no idea what your budget is, do at least 1 bottle of selenium a month. At least 1 bottle of selenium a month. That's not the most important thing for you to take. The most important thing for you to take is the extra calcium, the glucogel. Okay?
Okay.
For this particular, in order to support and promote.
That Cal-Toddy.
Oh, yeah, and that's my favorite. If there was just one, if I was, only allowed by law to have 1 nutritional supplement, it would be the Cal-Toddy.
No
kidding.
Sounds good.
All right, man. All right, Ernest, I appreciate your trust. Give me a shout back in a couple weeks, and I'll look forward to it. Appreciate you very, very much. Let's go to North Carolina, where the weather is finer, and talk to June. Even though it's July, we're going to talk to June. Hey, June, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Several months ago, we spoke about my need to slow down my BTT intake for better absorption, and I needed to add OsteoFX with orange juice at night to help reduce trips to the bathroom and to support sleep and weight.
What happened?
There's been no real weight gain yet, but the blood pressure is holding for the most part, and I'm still making trips to the bathroom, but it's not as urgent as it had been before.
So we're making progress, and that was 3 weeks ago?
No, that was 3 months. Well, almost 2.5 months ago.
Okay.
But I'm not as worried about that. But I do have 2 other issues that I think are much more of concern.
Okay.
One is I have a chronic post-nasal drip that I've had for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes it's really driving me crazy. Sometimes it makes me feel as though I'm choking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're allergic to your husband.
Well, actually, my husband, I'm not married. So.
Your boyfriend, June, you're allergic to your boyfriend. It's time for that bum to go.
That's right. And the second one, which is probably even more significant, is that I've had this intermittent pumping sensation in my head for a long time. About 2 years ago, my physician said, that's often associated with age or probably due to calcium buildup. One of the things that I've noticed it's began to increase. and had an increase in the varicose vein in my left leg. So,
all right. Now we're getting somewhere, girl. We're getting somewhere now. All right. Stick with me, June. Here comes a commercial break. I'll bring you right back on the other side of these good words. Stick with me. We're finishing up the program with June. I do not believe we will be able to get to Dave and the thumb. Give me a call back tomorrow, Dave. I always appreciate it when you do call. I'll pull you up very first. Let's go back to June in July in North Carolina. June, are you still with me? Come in, June.
I'm here.
All right.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm with you loud and clear. Okay, so tell me specifically what it is that you'd like extra help with.
One has to do with that postnasal drip that's
Yep.
driving me crazy, but the other bigger one has to do with the pumping in the head that I wondered if it had any relationship to the extended vein in my left leg that I did not have before, although the physician previously some years ago said it was probably calcium related.
That's interesting. Okay, so this pounding sensation you have in your head, is it associated with a headache or anything like that, or is it just kind of a weird pulsing sensation?
Just a weird pulsing. I mean, there may have been headache once or twice, but that's not usual.
Yeah, and is it all the time? Does it come and go, and how long does it last when you feel it?
Usually it's at night. Well, at least it used to be at night. Now I can feel it in the daytime.
Yeah, is it in your forehead, your temple, the top of your head, the back of your head? Where do you feel it?
Somewhere in the back of the head, the top of the head, back and top.
And when you say nighttime, does that mean when you're in bed lying down? Does it wake you from sleep?
Not necessarily wake me, but once I lie down, it starts. And then after a while, it can sort of calm down once I kind of calm down.
Okay, how much do you weigh?
112 pounds now.
Okay, how many fish oil capsules you're taking a day, the EFAs? How many of those are you doing?
I don't. I'm only taking BTT and the FX.
All right, so we've gotten somewhere now. I want you to take, why don't you take the fish oil? Is that a religious thing? Why don't you do that?
Oh, no one has, I just didn't know.
Oh, you just didn't know, okay.
I'm new with this.
Oh, good. All right, well, I'm about to save you some money because the fish oil capsules are part of the 90 Essential Nutrient package.
Okay.
And when you buy the whole package, right, that's with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine that you're already taking, the calcium that you're already taking, and the fish oil, you get it for a better price than if you were to get each one of those three things separately.
Okay. Now, I've been doing some cod liver oil.
Okay, yeah, well, you want to stop that. So we don't recommend any oil in a bottle. We don't recommend any oil in a capsule.
Okay.
At all. Okay, so please stop using any oil that's in a bottle. So what I would like you to order next, the next time that you place an order, is one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form.
Okay.
That's going to have everything that you have now plus the fish oil, and I'd like you to take one fish oil capsule 3 times a day. Okay. One fish oil capsule 3 times a day with meals. If you only eat twice a day, then do 2 fish oil with 1 meal and 1 fish oil with the next meal, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'd also like you to get 1 bottle of selenium a month. Selenium. It's called Ultimate Selenium, actually, in the catalog. It's a longevity product. Ultimate Selenium, you spell that S like Sam, E, L like Larry, E, N like Nancy, I-U-M, Selenium, S-E-L-E-N-I-U-M. Actually, 2 bottles of that at your body weight. 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and please take 6 of those a day. 3 between breakfast and lunch, and 3 between lunch and dinner. Or you could do 2, 2, and 2 if that's easier for you. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. 6 selenium a day, 3 essential fatty acids a day. Maintain the discipline with the 10 bad foods, and please stop eating any oil that's in a bottle. And now for the chronic postnasal drip. For the chronic postnasal drip, I want you to get 1 bottle of Cell Shield RTQ. Cell Shield RTQ. And take 3 capsules a day. Cell Shield RTQ, 3 capsules a day. Wish we had more time, June. I appreciate your phone call very much. See you later, folks.
Thank you very much.